They're calling him Maryland Man in all of these sub-headlines in every single article. And it just reminds me of the game that they play. Every single time it's something about black crime, they're called teens or youths. And similarly, they're going to continue referring to him as Maryland Man because, I don't know, he was here.
Yep, because they're betting on regular people passively watching the news. And they've said a Maryland man who was legally here. None of it is true.
None of it's
true. He was
true.
here illegally. A withholding of deportation is not legal status. It's temporary protected status. It's not legal status. And what they're doing is they're saying he was legally here. We don't mean he was granted legal status. We're meaning that he was here with a temporary stay, meaning it was legal that he was here. It's like, okay, it's conditional.
What claim would he have to asylum anyway?
He didn't. He got denied.
Okay.
And he said in that police report that originally that 2019 I-213 form that he did not fear going back to El Salvador. So he when you claim asylum, you're being persecuted. You're running
What
from.
What was his original claim to asylum then?
I don't think did he ever claim it?
Yeah, he did. He was denied.
He was.
Yeah, I think
What
it
were
was
the
that
grounds for it?
if he goes home, he said MS-13 tried to force him to join the gang.
Oh, right.
And if he had to flee the country, if he goes back, they'll kill him. But meanwhile, he's hanging out with people known to be in that gang by the gang unit. So they're like, okay, he's wearing the same clothes as them. He's clearly in the gang.
So, I mean, if it walks like a duck is the phrase, right?
Yeah.
And he's quacking and walking, and he looks like a duck, and
Water's just
big,
rolling off
beautiful
his
duck.
back. You know?
Mm-hmm.
right? We love ducks.
Democrats really love evil stuff.
They have taken the side of the bad guys, and I'm here for
Every
it.
single
hide
time.
They used to hide it a little better, right? Like they used to. I feel like it was that they never just. This is a full on embrace now, right? Where maybe they would have ignored this story in the past, or kind of maybe mentioned it once or twice, and then said, "Oh, this guy's really bad news. Let's find something else." They are advocating for him to come back.
Well, no, you just don't understand because he was involved in gang activity due to his childhood trauma.
Of course,
He never he never went to Freudian psychotherapy to resolve in himself. So he deserves to be here so he can continue that process of growth.
This is a common thing that you see with the left, and I get so. Anyways, it's a common thing you see. They don't believe that people have agency, right? So the people that are criminals, they're criminals because of the situation they're in, because of the way they grew up, etc. It's not that the criminals decided to do criminal things. It's that
Wait a minute.
What?
I kind of disagree with your point of view here.
Go ahead, please.
The question of whether or not these violent criminals have agency is kind of irrelevant because they should just be thrown in jail anyway.
Fair enough.
Doesn't matter.
Fair enough. I mean,
honestly, personally, I don't think that they have a lot of agency. I think some of them just have a propensity to violence, and they're just psychopaths. They're just born that way.
So you think that? Well, okay. So it's not. They're not a product of their environment. They're just born.
Maybe it's some of both.
Bad people. I mean, I tend to agree with you, but the leftists, I don't think that. Whereas I tend to agree with you, and I think that there's a lot of people have certain proclivities, right? Like if you're conservative, you're probably you've got a significant portion of your conservative leaning is because of like longer time preferences or
higher disgust factor is another
things
one.
like that.
It is,
like the big five that Jordan Peterson talks about. The
IQ above 100.
Fair enough.
You can hold a job.
Right.
Right. General emotional stability. These
Being
things.
hot.
But I think that what I'm talking about is more the way that the left kind of makes excuses for people that act. They say, well, it's not their fault. It's the conditions that they're in, and they do it. You hear people that, again, the Israel-Palestine thing. People always say, well, what would you do if you were in Palestine? I wouldn't go into Israel and kidnap people. It's like you may have a problem with the fight, but I wouldn't be getting. When the actual terrorists went into Israel, I wouldn't have been jumping on mopeds to be like, yo, let's go grab some Jews and bring them back.
You're right.
I wouldn't have done that. That is what I would not have.
They want to believe that crime happens to criminals.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And the same thing like when it comes to the Ukraine Russia, right? Like there are a lot of people that are out there, they're making excuses for Russia invading Ukraine. And it's like, well, Look, I mean, I understand that the U.S. foreign policy, led up.
Let's not derail that far.
Well, I'm just saying that that's something that you hear a lot. People
Yeah.
taking agency away from the actors. Like Putin's the guy that said we're going to go in.
In regards to
Sean was going to say something.
Well, just basically to add on to that is that the left will go and find something horrible and try and justify it or say, well, they have a point. Mangione's a great example where they say, well, the healthcare industry is so evil, and it may be. I'm not going to deny that there's bad practices in the health insurance industry. But the solution to that is not to kill CEOs on the street.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing. So there's common ground there if we want to find it, right? Where we can say, all right, healthcare, health insurance, there's a lot that we may want to fix. There's a lot of things you may feel slighted by whoever, is your insurance provider. But the solution isn't to murder the CEO. First of all, it wasn't the CEO who did. Brian Thompson, I think was his name. He didn't deny that person's care. He's just the CEO of the company. If
he was new.
If my T-Mobile went down, right, I wouldn't say, well, the CEO must die, because I have no service in the hills. That's just not the way a rational person thinks.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.